So this presentation is on axes intersects, in other words, where does a graph cross the x and y axis. It's actually quite important to know how to do this because we want to do it not only with lines and parabolas but lots of other curves. So the axis intersect is where a graph crosses or touches an axis, and so the y-axis intersect is where a graph crosses the y-axis, and the x-axis intersect is where a graph crosses the x-axis. So how do we do each of those things? Well, first of all, the easiest is the y-axis intersect, and we can find that very easily because the y-axis is the x equals 0 line, and so all we have to do is in the formula for a graph is to set x equal to 0, and that will tell us where the graph crosses the y-axis. So for the first example, y equals 2x plus 3. If we set x equal to 0, we get y is 2 times 0 plus 3, which is 3. And as another example here, if we have y equals x squared minus 4x plus 5, we set x equal to 0, and we get y equals 0 squared minus 4 times 0 plus 5, which is 5. You might be tempted to think, well, it's just the number at the end, the constant, the 3 and the 5, and it is the case with linear and quadratics, but later on we'll come on to trigonometry and exponentials where it won't be so easy. So the more general method is to realize you work out where a graph crosses the y-axis by replacing x by 0. Let's look at where a graph crosses the x-axis. The x-axis is the y equals 0 line, so you might not be surprised that to work out where a graph crosses the x-axis, you have to replace y by 0. So here in this first example, if we replace y by 0, we get 3x plus 2 is 0, and rearrange and we get x equals minus 2/3. Similarly here for this quadratic, if we replace y by 0, we get x squared minus 4x plus 3 is 0, which if we factorize gives us x minus 1 times x minus 3 is 0, which means that x equals 1 or x equals 3. So we have to solve an equation, either a linear equation or a quadratic equation, to be able to work out where the graph crosses the x-axis if the graph is linear or quadratic. And that's pretty much it, but we'll be seeing a lot more of this as we come onto new functions, and in every case it's going to be that a graph crosses the y-axis when x is 0 and a graph crosses the x-axis when y is 0.